In this video, we will talk about how China and Russia have witnessed US power. Are you curious to know about it? Stay with us and give a thumbs up to this video right away. Let's get started. There may be a number of advantages to the Ukraine conflict. Russia that has been wiped out by its own aggression, a united and re-energized democratic community that is prepared for the perishing years ahead, and a United States that has regained the centrality of its power and leadership. The merger of Eurasian autocracies, which are linked by their proximity to one another and their geopolitical hostility to the West, will give another extremely unsettling outcome. By uniting the developed democracies, Russian President Vladimir Putin's idiocy hastens the creation of a Fortress Eurasia, manned by the enemies of the free world. Revisionist autocracies like those in China, Russia, Iran, and to a lesser extent North Korea are not just fighting for power in their specific regions. They are creating interconnected strategic alliances throughout the largest continent on the planet, as well as trade and transportation networks that are independent of the US dollar and the US Navy. However, this alliance of autocracies is far from being fully formed. But compared to previous opponents the US has faced, this organization is more organized and dangerous. In every major fight of the modern age, opposing coalitions have fought for control of the supercontinent and the oceans surrounding it. As a result of Washington's pivotal role as a superpower in preserving world peace by keeping Eurasia divided, the American century has actually been the Eurasian century. As critical swing states try to gain an advantage, the United States is currently leading a coalition of democratic allies on the perimeter of Eurasia against a group of strategically located rivals. Countries like Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and India are essential in this time of conflict because of their geographic location and military strength. They frequently intend to play both sides according to these factors. In order to control the Eurasian challenge, the US alliance networks must be strengthened. But what makes the present scenario so terrifying is that opportunistic swing states will also impact the fight between Fortress Eurasia and the free world. With the exception of the United States, the region is home to the richest and most powerful countries in the world, making it a key geopolitical flashpoint. And this massive supercontinent has seen brutal wars for supremacy since the turn of the 20th century. A transatlantic alliance of democracies stopped Germany's plan to extend its dominion from the English Channel to the Caucasus during World War I. Despite the fact that during World War II, Germany and Japan attacked and occupied the dynamic rimlands and heartland of Eurasia, a bigger, more ideologically diverse coalition came together to restore the equilibrium. The Soviet Union, a superpower with a strategic location, attempted to overpower a free world alliance on the edge of Eurasia during the Cold War. Though the details change, the fundamental conflict between those who want to rule Eurasia and those who don't, including the foreign superpower, remains the same. Europe, East Asia, and the Middle East were all significant subregions of Eurasia that Washington and its allies controlled after winning the Cold War. But since then, issues have come up again from rivals who have increasingly allied themselves in opposition to the status quo. The creation of a new Eurasian alliance is being accelerated by the Russia-Ukraine conflict, as major crises typically do. Today, the United States of America dominates a big area of the planet with significant influence. In addition to other forms of influence, the United States holds power in the world's politics, economy, and culture. Because of this effect, the United States is frequently referred to as a superpower, a country that dominates the majority of other countries. The United States is a superpower and a worldwide power for a variety of reasons. One is that the United States has the best-funded and equipped military in the world. Because of its massive air force and navy, the United States, unlike other countries, is able to project its military strength around the world. More money is spent operating half of the world's aircraft carriers by the United States than by the next three militarily strongest countries combined. The world's reserve currency is the dollar, and the US has the biggest GDP. Due to American influence, English has overtaken all other languages as the most frequently spoken language in the world. Moscow's alternatives are becoming more constrained, and its reliance on China in terms of technology and the economy is growing as a result of the Ukraine crisis and the subsequent Western sanctions against Russia. These changes give China more influence over Russia. Due to China's deteriorating relations with the United States, Moscow is a crucial junior partner for Beijing in taking action against the United States and its allies. No other friend China has comes with as much to offer. And while he prepares China for a period of protracted conflict with the most powerful country on the planet, Kasai needs all the help he can get. According to US intelligence, China may be considering supplying Russia weapons and ammunition, which would be a significant issue according to Secretary of State Antony Blinken. Blinken claims that the US has long been worried that China might provide Russia with arms. He referred to the commitment to an unrestricted partnership that Chinese President Xi Jinping made to Russian President Vladimir Putin just weeks before Putin sent his troops into Ukraine on February 24, 2022. Since then, ties between the two countries have only grown stronger. We have been closely monitoring this. However, we have information that makes us concerned that they may be considering providing Russia with lethal support in the conflict with Ukraine, Blinken said in an interview that aired on Sunday, a day after his meeting with Wang Yi, the top foreign policy official for the Chinese Communist Party, at a security conference in Munich. China has, for the most part, supported Russia diplomatically, politically, and rhetorically. The most intriguing outcome of the three-day meeting between Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping received little media attention. We are in favor of adopting the Chinese yuan for settlements between Russia and the nations of Asia, Africa, and Latin America, Putin concluded as he summed up their deliberations. The second largest economy in the world and its greatest energy exporter are actively challenging the dollar's dominance as the cornerstone of the global financial system as a result. How will they perform? The dollar is America's superpower. It provides Washington with unrivaled political and financial clout. Nations can be sanctioned unilaterally by the United States, cutting them off from a sizable section of the global economy. Additionally, Washington can be certain that the rest of the world will purchase its debt, which often takes the form of bills, when it spends freely. Due to sanctions imposed on Russia for its invasion of Ukraine and growing antagonism from Washington toward China, Russia and China are intensifying their attempts to diversify away from the dollar. Their central banks are retaining fewer reserves in dollars as the majority of their trade is paid in yuan. They are also trying to convince other countries to do the same, as Putin noted. The Biden administration has handled the economic confrontation with Russia extraordinarily successfully by putting together a coalition in support of Ukraine that includes virtually all of the industrialized economies in the world. It is challenging to transfer from the dollar to other highly valued stable currencies like the euro, pound, or Canadian dollar because other countries are also in competition with Russia. A more major turning point for the dollar's position may have been President Donald Trump's decision in May 2018 to reimpose sanctions on Iran and withdraw from the nuclear agreement. The Iranian economy was abruptly shut off from a sizable sector of the global economy, including its trading partners in Europe as the European Union, which bitterly opposed this measure, watched. Then President of the European Commission, Jean-Claude Juncker, proposed extending the use of the euro on a global scale in order to safeguard the continent against egotistic unilateralism. The Commission offered a plan of action to accomplish this goal. Because there are still too many significant unknowns surrounding the eurozone's future, that hasn't happened. The dollar still reigns supreme for numerous justifiable reasons. A single currency is necessary for a worldwide economy's convenience and effectiveness. The dollar is dependable, you are free to buy and sell it whenever you want, and the market, not a particular government, mostly determines its value. Because of this, China's efforts to strengthen the yuan's impact outside have been unsuccessful. Ironically, if Xi wanted to harm the United States the greatest, he would liberalize his financial system and make the yuan a serious competitor to the dollar, but that would conflict with his own domestic goals and promote markets and openness. This is it for today. Support us by sharing our content with your fellows and subscribe to our channel. Have a great day.